You wake up already exhausted. Before your feet even touch the floor, your mind is already racing with the problems of 3 different people. You are the strong friend. You are the planner, the therapist, the problem solver, and the emergency contact for everyone in your life. Everyone tells you how capable you are. Everyone praises your resilience. But internally, you feel like you are slowly being crushed to death. You are not just tired. You are trapped in a highly toxic, self-inflicted psychological dynamic called overfunctioning. Overfunctioning is a biological glitch where you completely absorb the responsibilities, emotions, and failures of the adults around you. You think you are being selfless. You think you are proving your loyalty. But psychology reveals a much darker truth about why you do this. You are not acting out of love. You are acting out of a subconscious terror that if you stop being useful, you will be entirely abandoned. Somewhere along the line, your brain learned a devastating equation. Your fundamental worth as a human being is entirely equal to what you can do for other people. Society praises you for carrying the weight, but the crown of the strong friend is actually a psychological prison. It guarantees that you will be constantly surrounded by people, but entirely, desperately alone in your own suffering. This glitch almost always begins as a childhood survival mechanism. You grew up in an environment that was emotionally unpredictable or chaotic. To survive the chaos, you developed emotional hypervigilance. You became an expert at reading the micro-expressions and moods of the adults around you. You realized that if you could anticipate someone's anger or sadness before it happened, you could fix it and keep yourself safe. You became a peacemaker, but your nervous system paid the price. You have spent your entire life operating on the exact same adrenaline as a bomb defusal squad. As an adult, this trauma response manifests as hypercompetence. You constantly remove all friction for the people you love. You anticipate their needs before they even speak. You do their chores. You manage their schedules. You take on their financial stress. Your extreme competence has become your camouflage. Because you are so good at managing chaos, nobody ever stops to ask if you are okay. You have trapped yourself in a dynamic where you are never allowed to drop a single ball. You are never allowed to have a bad day. You are suffocating under the weight of an invisible standard that you created, and you are terrified of what happens if you let it go. Because the terrifying truth is, you don't actually know who you are if you aren't fixing someone else. This leads to the most toxic phase of the glitch, the resentment trap. You give and you give, and eventually, a deep, quiet fury begins to build inside you. You start keeping score. You become furious that nobody is reading your mind. You are angry that nobody is stepping up to take care of you. But you have to accept a harsh psychological reality. You are operating on a covert contract that the other person never actually signed. You believe that if you sacrifice yourself completely, they will owe you their unwavering loyalty. It is actually a deeply covert form of manipulation. You are treating capable adults like helpless children. You are forcefully inserting yourself into their lives to maintain a sense of control. The martyr complex requires victims. In order for you to be the hero, you subconsciously require the people around you to remain broken. You are mad at them for not helping, but every single time they try, you push them out of the way because they don't do it perfectly. You literally trained them. You taught them for years that you do not have needs, boundaries, or limits. You cannot be furious at someone for perfectly learning the exact lesson you spent years teaching them. The exhaustion you feel is the direct result of carrying cargo that never belonged to you in the first place. So what happens when you finally decide to stop? What happens when you finally put the heavy stones down and say the word no? The system will violently rebel. Psychologists call this phase the extinction burst. When you stop over-functioning, the people who rely on your sacrifices will panic. They will aggressively escalate their demands to force you back into submission. They will use guilt as a weapon. They will accuse you of being cold, selfish, and completely changed. Your own brain will turn against you. Because you associate utility with love, setting a boundary will trigger a massive, overwhelming wave of anxiety and guilt. Your nervous system will scream at you to just apologize, drop the boundary, and fix their problem just to make the uncomfortable feeling go away. But you must endure the guilt. You have to realize that by constantly saving them, you are actually harming them. Your help is a crutch. Every time you intercept their failure, you rob them of the friction required to build their own resilience. If you actually love them, you have to let them face the consequences of their own actions. You have to let them fall. True love is not preventing someone's pain. It is believing they are strong enough to survive it on their own. To break the trap, you must consciously practice the art of letting people down. When someone presents you with a crisis, you must bite your tongue. You must force yourself to sit in the extreme discomfort of doing absolutely nothing. Replace your hyper-competence with emotional neutrality. Say, "That sounds really difficult. I hope you figure it out." And then, walk away. Let the balls drop. Let the dinner burn. Let the deadline be missed. The moment you stop carrying their weight, your nervous system will finally, for the first time in your life, begin to power down and rest. You will lose people. The ones who only loved you for your utility will disappear the moment the free ride ends. But the people who stay, they are the ones who actually love you. Not for what you can do for them, but simply for the fact that you exist. You are a human being. You are not a human doing. You are not a rehabilitation center for broken adults. Your only responsibility is your own peace. Drop the weight. Take the crown off.